being weighed, its value was found to be about £53,000 of modern money. As, however, some of the coins were exceedingly rare and of great value to museums and collectors, this value was considerably increased, and the treasure was ultimately sold for £55,254. Only Ida kept back enough of the choicest coins to make a gold waistband or girdle and a necklace for herself, destined no doubt in future days to form the most cherished heirloom of the Quaritch family. On that same evening the Squire and Harold went to London and opened up communications with the solicitor to the Treasury. Fortunately they were able to refer to the will of Sir Edward de la Molle, the second baronet, in which he specially devised to his cousin Geoffrey Dofferleigh and his heirs for ever, not only his estates but his lands, together with the treasure hidden thereon or elsewhere by my late murdered father, Sir James de la Molle. Also they produced the writing which Ida had found in the old Bible, and the parchment discovered by George among the coin. These three documents formed a chain of evidence which even officials interested for the Treasury could not refuse to admit, and in the upshot the Crown renounced its claims, and the property in the gold passed to the Squire, subject to the payment of the same succession duty which he would have been called upon to meet had he inherited a like sum from a cousin at the present time. And so it came to pass that when the mortgage money was due it was paid to the last farthing, capital and interest, and Edward Cossey lost his hold upon Honham for ever. As for Edward Cossey himself, we may say one more word about him. In the course of time he got over his violent passion for Ida sufficiently to allow him to make a brilliant marriage with the only daughter of an impecunious peer. She keeps her name and title, and he plays the part of the necessary husband. Anyhow, my reader, if it is your glorious fortune to frequent the gilded saloons of the great, you may meet Lady Honoria Talbot and Mr. Cossey. If you do meet him, however, it may be well to avoid him, for the events of his life have not been of a nature to improve his temper. This much then of Edward Cossey. If after leaving the gilded saloons aforesaid you should happen to wander down Piccadilly or the Strand, as the case may be, you may meet another character in this history. You may see a sweet pale face, still stamped with a childlike roundness and simplicity, but half hidden in the coarse hood of the nun. You may see her, and if you care to follow, you may find what is the work wherein she seeks her peace. It would shock you, you would fly from it in horror, but in her work of mercy and loving kindness, and she does it unflinchingly, and among her fellow nuns there is no one more beloved than Sister Agnes. So goodbye to her also. Harold Quaritch and Ida were married in the spring, and the village children strewed the churchyard path, the same path where in anguish of soul they had met and parted on that dreary winter's night, with primroses and violets. And there at the old church door, when the wreath is on her brow and the veil about her face, let us bid farewell to Ida and her husband Harold Quaritch. The end. End of conclusion. End of Colonel Quaritch, V.C. by H. Rider Haggard. Read by Esther.